Today we're starting our presentation by bringing you back to 1998 when Google Search first started and when suddenly all the world's information is just at your fingertip. Flash forward to today, mobile and many more devices have forever changed how we live our daily lives as well as how we do business. People are connected all day, every day to essentially all the world's information. What hasn't changed is that search is to the place we go to find useful, relevant, and also actionable information. Whenever you want to know something, buy something, or go somewhere, search is where you go. That brings us to trillions of searches each year. And that is why we can easily say that search remains one of the best ways for you to connect and to get your users and customers to discover your business or content online. And therefore, we are here today to talk about Google Search and how you can manage your website's presence there. My name is Cherry. And with Google Search Relations team, I'm based in Singapore, and my role is to work with developers, website owners, marketers like you to enhance web and search ecosystem. Be reminded that we are here for organic search talk. This is separated from Google Ads entirely, and we do not accept any token or payment from you to list your websites here on Google Organic Search. I was told that today we have a wide profile of audience from web designer, web developers, agency, business owner, marketers, and so on and so forth. We have quite little time too, so today we will go through how search works quite quickly, then 3 basic things that you can do, and I will introduce 1 new stuff that is coming up in Google Search in case you have been to my other talks before. So how does search works? There are 3 steps in search: crawling, indexing, and ranking. In crawling, we send out Googlebot to look for websites that are out there. We don't know how many are there, but we know over 130 trillion pages. In a day, we crawl more than 20 billion of pages. With such a big volume, Googlebot is very busy, and we have to do scheduling. What this means for you is that we are not going to crawl your website all the time. You can help us to prioritize your content by using a tool which we will actually introduce later. After discovering all the pages, we put them all in one place, or what we call an index. Our index is big, but it's not limitless, which means we are selective on what goes into our index and what doesn't. What it means for you is that your web pages have to be value adding to users, or if they are duplicated, they might not make it to the index. In this stage, we also try to understand information about the page, such as how old is the page, what is the page about, and we also do rendering so we can understand more than just words. And the last step is ranking. This is the part that is most apparent to you, but is the most complex, as we use hundreds of signals to rank your page so that we can tailor the search results to your intent as much as possible. For example, when you type queries with the word change, it can be many things, right? Such as adjust, convert, exchange, or replace. Or if you are searching on mobile phone or laptop, you might be looking for different things. We have to understand these differences so that we can serve you with the best search results possible. In 2017, I think, we know that 15% of searches per day are new. Therefore, ranking only happens real time when you are searching only. It's not something that we actually did or do before you start searching. I hope everyone is doing okay. So before we move on to the next section, I just want to give you a few more pointers for what all this actually means for you. First, if you're making changes on your websites, or if you have new websites, it could take time for us to notice, depending on how frequent we crawl your pages actually. But you can use a tool called Search Console to help us prioritize this, and we will cover the tool later on in this presentation. Second thing is we understand more than just keywords or words on your websites. We do rendering of pages as well. So you just have to focus on bringing good content to your users focusing on users instead of the search engine, and try to make your site crawlable and easy to understand. Moving on to 3 basic things that you can do for your website. First, make sure that your pages are searchable and that they are looking great on Google search result page. The question that I get asked most often is, why is my site not on Google? So if you're wondering about the same question, what you can do as a first step is to search for your site using site followed by colon and followed by your domain. What you're doing here is essentially to search for things under that domain only. So if Google knows your pages, you will see your page listed here. This means that your pages are in our index, and you probably don't have crawling or indexing problem, but you might want to focus on ranking or how you show up on Google search instead. What do we mean by that? Take a look at this example. Are you able to tell what this website is about? What service or product is it offering? Quite impossible, right? Because the 3 lines here are quite generic. These lines are what we call title and description or snippet. And they are extremely important because they tell your potential users what your web pages have to offer. Users mostly only use these lines to decide whether to click on and visit your web pages or not. You can help us and help users by providing these lines, make sure that it's clear, concise, unique, and also descriptive. How do you tell us what is your preference for these lines? Lines are what we... you can provide them through meta tag title and description. We don't always use them, but it will help us and help users. Basically, this is the HTML code of a page, and we are adding these lines to give additional information to browser, but it won't show up on your web pages. So it actually wouldn't change how your website looks. If these codes look scary to you and you already work with a developer, ask them to change these for you. The keyword is meta tag title and description. You or your marketing team should also provide developer with the content though, because you know your business best and developer might focus too much on the technical part of the house. If you are on CMS, any content management system or blog, usually you can change these directly on the user interface without touching the code. Search for instruction online or contact the CMS support if you have any questions. For developers, the technical part should be easy for you. If you need help with the content, then reach out to the business side of the house to help you with it. Another part of your appearance in search results has to do with structured data. Earlier, we said that there are 3 things in search, right? Crawling, indexing, and ranking. Another thing that we do is also to show useful responses. When search started, the world was very different, right? It was stationary, desktop, limited number of searches. And now Google search has evolved so much with user behavior and new devices. You probably have seen search results that are beyond just like 3 lines and the blue links. These are actually powered by a thing that is called structured data. Structured data is a set of predefined tags that you apply to your site to basically classify the page content. Google uses structured data that it finds on the web to understand the content of the page and might use that information to show on the search result page. For example, when you type in a recipe queries, we used to see a lot of lists on blue link. You'll see it on the left. The results would be mostly just blue link, and that don't necessarily tell us which ones are recipes and others not, right? But now you see an images like you see on the right, you can see an image of the dish, title, sauce, star reviews, how long it takes to cook, and calories about a dish. This intuitive layout is powered by structured data markup. Certain markups such as events and jobs allow search results to appear in a special feature. There are many different types of structured data. and I'm sure some of them should fit well with your business. You can explore available types of structured data at Google. So goo.gl/search galleries. There's a link there on my slide. From there, you will be able to learn how to implement it as well. You basically have to highlight parts of your website code that has relevant information. So this task will be generally be done by a developer or someone who manage the websites. Once you apply markups to your page, you can use this rich results test tool to check the validity of the markups. You don't have to be technical to do this. This tool is actually free and available online. You just have to fill in your URL, and then you will see a green check if all your markups are valid. And if not, then a red flag with details into the errors that are found on your website. Before we move on to the next section, some pointers here. First, titles and descriptions are important, and you can let us know your preference of these lines through meta tag title and description. Second, explore search gallery at google.go.gle/search gallery. Use structured data to be eligible for special features on search. Moving on to second thing, which is to focus on users. Think of who are your audiences and what should they do on your websites. Learn about personas, write in their language, and think about goals and conversions, things that you want people to do on your website. If you're an e-commerce site, you want people to purchase, for example. If you want to provide news, then maybe you want people to subscribe to your newsletter. Secondly, give your users a safe and secure experience that they deserve. Consider adopting HTTPS if your site is not on HTTPS yet. HTTPS is also one of the ranking factors that we use. Always use security practices to prevent your site from being hacked. Cleaning a hacked site is difficult. Prevention is actually a key. When your site is hacked, it affects users, affects brand, and actually affect organic search as well. Lastly, make your website easily accessible on all devices and fast. Good user experience does not only keep users engaged on your websites, but speed and also mobile friendliness are also one of the ranking factors for search results. How do you know if your site is fast and it's loading well on all devices? There are two free tools that you can use easily, Page Speed Insights and also Lighthouse. Just to give an example, this is Page Speed Insights tools. So it's easy to use. You can just search for Page Speed Insights. Then you will see something that looks like this. You just have to input your URL of your website there and click Analyze. You will get like a score upon 100. The tool will actually also suggest improvement opportunity and suggestions specific to your website if it's not doing very well or if there are some room for improvement. The last basic task is to communicate and utilize data from us more. Google Search Console is a tool that gives you all the data related to how you are doing on Google Organic Search. This is an example of how it looks like. It tells you how many clicks are there from Google Search to your site, how many times you show up, and how are you ranking. It also tells you things like what are the top queries that brings people to your website, what pages are popular, what countries and devices are users searching from. Apart from all the data I have mentioned, you can check things like speed of your website or mobile friendliness as well. You can confirm that Google can find and crawl your site. You can see how many pages of your website are actually in our index. And if there's a problem with crawling and indexing, you can find it there as well. You can tell us when your pages are updated and should be prioritized. I told you before, we're not crawling your site all the time. And if anytime you change your website, if you have a new website or something like that, you can use this tool to actually tell us to prioritize those pages. We also talked about structured data and rich experiences. You know, all those spatial features that is beyond just like the 3 lines of blue links. And you can see all these data related to structured data and rich experiences as well on Search Console. If you run into any problem, if any certain URL is not showing, if it's like there's a problem with indexing and crawling, you can troubleshoot issues for those things as well as mobile usability and other search features. You can get suggestion, improvement, and receive alerts when Google encounters indexing problems, spam, and other issues on your site. So I hope you're sold on this. You can head over to g.co/search console to start using it. It's free, and you can start using it like right away. There are also more channels that you can communicate with us. If you have questions, search for Webmasters Help Community and ask your questions there. There are Googlers and also like other experts in the industry who will be able to help you with your questions or discussion. If you want to join events that we organize, we run webmaster conferences when social distancing is not a thing. You can search for Webmaster Conference, then click on Get Updates and leave your contact with us. So we could update you when we run these events, whether it be online or offline. You can learn variety of content on our Google Webmasters YouTube channel, and also follow us on our Twitter at Google WMC to get updates. So we are done with our basic tips. First is to make sure you are searchable using site, followed by your domain. Then make sure you appear well there by using meta tag title, description, and also structured data. Second, focus on users, create content for users, provide safe and secure website, and make it easily accessible and fast. Lastly, use Search Console to get valuable insights from us. The very last thing we will talk about today is some upcoming new things on Google Organic Search. There are so many things, like so many new stuff ranging from structured data updates, image search updates, web stories, but today, we will only talk about one thing that should be applicable to all of you and also related to what we covered earlier in this presentation. And that will be a new upcoming ranking factors, which is called Page Experience Benchmark. Earlier, we talked about how page speed and mobile friendliness are one of the ranking factors for search. And basically, users love sites that are fast and easy to use. In May this year, the Chrome team announced called Web Vitals. It's a set of metrics that's related to speed, responsiveness, and also visual stability of the site. This is to help site owner measure user experience on the web in a more holistic way instead of just like using one metric. So from search, we are combining the signals derived from Core Web Vitals with our existing search signals for page experience, including mobile friendliness, safe browsing, HTTPS, security, and intrusive interstitial guidelines to provide a holistic picture of page experience. Basically, instead of looking at page speed from just one metric or one angle, we would expand it to loading, interactivity, and visual stability. Page Experience Benchmark will become one of the search ranking factors, well, one of the many. We told you, right, we have like hundreds of signals that we use. So this will become one of them. Page Speed Insights and Lighthouse, the tools that we also covered in this presentation earlier, are good places to start testing if your website is performing well in this regard or not. We have not yet decided when we will start using these signals, but we will let you know at least 6 months before we start using it. So for now, there's no like immediate urgent action you should take. But if you have time and if you want to, improve your website, not just for search engine, but for users as well, then I think it's a good time that you start looking at auditing your site using Page Speed Insights, using Lighthouse, and see where you can make these improvements. All right, so I think we are done. And if you have any questions, I think we don't have time for questions for today. So make sure to search for Webmasters Help Community and leave your questions there. And as I told you, we have Webmaster Conference. You can search for Webmaster Conference, you leave your contact there, and also follow us on Google Webmasters on YouTube and also on Twitter. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Cherry. We're just going to squeeze in one question here. I know we're already the time is already up, but we're just going to do one quick question. So this one is from Susan. Susan's question is, hi, Cherry. I noticed that my search term report is now showing 50 to 60% of total keyword clicks since September. Before that, I can see at least 90% of my search terms. Why is this so?
Can you repeat again?
Oh, you can actually look at it in the Q&A box. So I will read it once more. Yeah, you just need to click at the bottom of your screen, the Q&A box.
Okay, I found it.
The question is, yeah.
Total keyword clicks since that I can see. I'm actually not sure if I understand the question. And also, I think search term reports is part of the parts of Google Ads and not part of organic search. For organic search, we don't really have a thing called search term reports, but it would be a top queries report. So under Search Console, you can see things called top queries, and it will show you how many, what are the top queries that bring people to your site. Search term reports, I believe, is under Google Ads. Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to address that question. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Then let's just do the one below that. This one from Lai Yi. So the question is, usually how can we know other competitors are doing well in their SEO? Can we have a reference from there?
I would say like not really. And also there's also a lot of different way of looking how you are doing well on SEO. So Search Console actually can be used only by the owner of the site. So if you verify yourself on Search Console, you only see data related to your website only. So you won't be able to say like, see how many people are clicking or how many impressions are there on your competitor website, because in the same way, you also won't want your competitor to see your data as well. And that's like privacy concern. So we wouldn't show that. However, if you're looking in terms of like for a benchmark, or whether you're doing well or not compared to other people in the same industry, you can try to use Google Analytics and see some of the data that is in Google Analytics, which benchmark from the industry wide. Or I think in PageSpeed Insights, you also will be able to see like some benchmark across the industry as well, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for the question, Lai Yi. And Cherry, we're going to have to wrap things up right now because we have run a little bit over time. I'd like to thank you so much for being a part of WebFest Asia 2020. You know, me and the girls at Exabytes, we were just going on our phones just now talking about how absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous you are. You have such a nice voice. We're just like kind of fangirling here behind this, the scenes. But thank you so much for your input. It was so nice to talk to you.
Laureen.
And it's so nice to meet you. You have a great day and stay safe, Cherry. Thank you so much.
You too. Stay safe.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.